Okay, so we are gonna get this done, try to get this done by the end of 2024, and if this comes out of 2025,
Happy New Year.
Happy 2025! Okay, so we are gonna try to get this done by the end of 2025, and maybe if we get lucky, it will be. Otherwise, happy 2026!
Happy New Year.
I'm gonna try to get this done by the end of 2039. If we don't get it done by 2040, Happy New Year. Nick still looks the same. Hello, Alchemedians.
And welcome to our top 20 list of
Most anticipated movies we're excited for 2025.
Yep.
We are gonna try to get the movies of 2024 list done like next year so that
the best movies of 2024.
we are excited to tell you our top 20 because this is a very, very anticipated year for movies.
Yeah, I think there's 2,400 movies coming out.
Yeah, and there's like one movie maybe that I'm like, okay, it's probably not going to come out, but we're going to see if this.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So before we head to the actual list itself, we are going to head to our honorable mentions to really
to
say the stuff we miss.
And
yeah.
Okay. My honorable mentions will simply be the Predator and Jurassic World. I love these franchises and Silent Hill. Silent Hill was supposed to come out this year, and it didn't. Predator, I loved Prey, but again, it could be pushed back. And Jurassic World has, I just don't know. So that's why they're on the honorable mentions list, not because I don't like them, just because I don't know.
And for my honorable mentions, there's Frankenstein, because I've always been a big fan of Frankenstein movies in general. Zombies 4, because the franchise from the third movie, I absolutely love the third movie and the first movie. Also, another movie that is coming out next month, The Better Man. Because one, it stars a monkey, and two, it's made by the same people who made The Greatest Showman. So that gets me really hyped.
Okay. So those are our honorable mentions. If you want to see, if you think these movies are good, sorry, there's reasons why they didn't make the list.
And if you have any more movies you're excited about that we didn't list off in this, add it to the comments.
Yep.
Hit that like button and subscribe.
All
and
right.
Let's get on with the list. And don't forget to share this with your friends.
Number 20 is the SpongeBob movie In Search of SpongeBob. Now, this movie is number 20 because while I do love SpongeBob, I'm not as excited for this as I am at previous SpongeBob movies. And I do think that this is going to make one of the Flying Dutchman storylines longer. And I think that if storylines were longer, it should be like the camping episode. There's better episodes to make longer, but I'm still really hyped about this movie. And I do hope that it does well. It can include some stuff through the new franchise and the new franchise spin-offs. And with that, here's number 19.
Number 19, and it is strange enough for me to say this and be the one who says this, but Superman. I've never really been a big fan of Superman because he's just too good for any problems. And apparently kryptonite can be found everywhere according to his comics. But from what James Gunn says he's going to add to this movie, I'm getting so hyped for this. Like, extremely hyped for a DC movie. Because he's been working on this for a while. Like, that, it's one of his first accomplishments for the DC universe that he says he wanted to get done was do a Superman movie. And that gets me more excited than ever. and that's why we put it on number 19. Still a superhero that I kind of iffy on, but I am excited to see what James Gunn has to bring to Superman.
Number 18 is the Thunderbolts. Oh, I love the Thunderbolts. As far as a comic book fan, I probably was a bigger fan of Thunderbolts than I was of Suicide Squad. And to see that, like, Winter Soldier and be in the movie, who are some great, like, antagonists in their own right, and then to say that the villain is going to be Sentry, who is of my favorite MCU characters, period. I think I'm really hyped about this movie just because of the casting and the character list. I wanted to see how they would do Sentry for a while. I really, really hope this one will do a really good job with it. Number 17 will be Scary Movie 6. Oh man, I love the Scary Movie franchise. I think most people do. I think I like the Scary Movie versions of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer actually better than the actual movie. It's great to see that the Wayans brothers are going to have more influence in it again, because the last two Scary Movies, 4 and 5, weren't as good as the first ones. And I hope they do a really good job with Scary Movie 6.
Number 16 is How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version. So, a little confession here. I never watched the How to Train Your Dragon movies. It's not that I never cared for them. I heard they're great. I heard by many people that they're great. I just probably change by next year. This is a live action treatment from DreamWorks, and it looks phenomenal. Like, how many dragons they put into one screen of them all flying is insane. And from how DreamWorks handles How to Train Your Dragon, I could not be more hyped for something I have never seen. And that says something to really be put on the list. Number 15, Verona's Romeo and Juliet. This is something that's a little more up to my speed, because this, like, Romeo and Juliet was one of the first movies that, first books that I actually remember reading from school. I feel like this will do an awesome treatment for the story for one reason only. Well, mostly, this movie is going to be like a pop musical type version of Romeo and Juliet. And I don't know if you've heard of a musical called Moulin Rouge, but it's basically just a musical with a bunch of pop songs in it that just makes it so good. So good. It's not by the same person who did Moulin Rouge. If that's the type of thing that they're going to do with Romeo and Juliet, I am going to be so hyped, and I would love this movie to bits. Number 14 is Mickey 17. Now, at first, when we saw the teaser trailer for this, it looked very serious. It looked like it was going to be a drama that was going to take itself really seriously, and it's going to be an awesome idea for a movie. A copy of a person is taking over somebody who made multiple copies of himself. That sounds like an interesting idea already. Then the first trailer kicked in, and it was hilarious. It kind of had that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish feel, to where, like, he had to explore his 9 lives, to where he's just dying over and over again, and he's just seeing multiple versions of himself just dying until we get to Mickey 17. And I'm excited to see what's in store for this, because besides the fact that he copied himself multiple times, I have no idea how this movie is going to be. And honestly, that excites me more than anything. And I hope to have a blast at the theaters when I see this.
Number 13 will be Elio. Elio is the Pixar's next movie. I think it's coming out in June. And I have been waiting for this movie since probably for 2 years. The original trailer looked absolutely amazing. The backgrounds, the storyline behind it, and even the characters looked very, very like iconic. Just to watch this movie's trailer, it reminds me a lot of other space dramas like classic movies like The Last Starfighter. Um, and I think to have that classic feel in a Pixar movie will just simply add to it, and to see the backgrounds into it. Um, I have been wanting to see this movie for a long time, and I hope it's really, really good.
Number 12 on this list has to be Captain America Brave New World. I mean, come on. I'm a huge fan of Harrison Ford ever since I've watched the Indiana Jones movies. And just everything he's a part of, he's just so cool. And him being the president turning into the Red Hulk, as we've seen in the trailer, and plus the ending to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, makes me even more hyped for this movie. Even though I was not a big fan of Falcon and Winter Soldier, this movie is basically like the ending, like what happens after Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I'm so enticed by it because I feel like Marvel has been trying to get to the point of making people feel more like superheroes more, which I still don't get why the newer movies are hated, but this movie I'm enticed by. Number 11 on this list is The Electric State. This looked fascinating. I have no idea what it's about, but there's going to be a lot of technical stuff happening everywhere. And Chris Pratt's going to be in the movie apparently. And just, it looks like a kind of Fallout feel to it, you know? Like how Fallout kind of looked. But instead it's the Electric State. I'm very, very excited for like technological robots like fighting, and just from what it is seen by the trailer, it looks fun. A lot of fun.
Number 10 is The Bad Guys 2. Bad Guys 1 was such a great movie that I was waiting for a sequel. I am glad that they have continued it. And if anybody has actually read the books, you see that there is a lot of storylines left to say. I can see this movie going up to a 4 easily, but this movie is really hyped for me. It's not just the first movie was so good, which it was. It is also the books were really funny and well written. And I hope it does well. I hope DreamWorks keeps going with this franchise. Number 9 is Paddington in Peru. I mean, most people have loved the first two, and I think this one has the potential to be the best one. I do like it when they try to remake classic classic books like Clifford and Harold and the Purple Crayon, and I do think Paddington was like the crown jewel of those types of movies. I do hope this movie does. Again, I do hope this movie does well, and I can't wait to see where this leads to as far as other literature book getting a live action.
Another one. Okay, let's just hope this one's better. Number 8, The Fantastic Four: The First Steps. We are waiting. We are waiting for a while just to have a good Fantastic Four movie. For the many times that they tried, none of them were really good at all. But we're hoping with this 80s kind of thing that they're doing, because they're really setting up a theme for this one. And they're trying to make Doom like not part of the group. Maybe that will make the movie better and newer to the audience and to the comics. Plus, with all these characters that are featured, they could be more described very well compared to the other movies. Number 7 is Animal Friends. It's literally all this movie is Ryan Reynolds. But it's a rated R movie that features 2 animal friends that are unlikely. You know what that sounds like? Strays. And you know how much I love Strays? A lot. Ryan Reynolds being an animal with somebody else that's an animal, or Ryan Reynolds being a person to animals and it being rated R, I'm all for it. And I just really want to see it, and I believe most people who are in the comedic field wants to see it too, because it sounds like a comedic masterpiece.
Number 6 is the Plankton movie. It's no surprise that us who consider ourselves self-proclaimed experts on SpongeBob, it's this high, but I still am really excited about this movie. I do think Plankton has an extremely high potential to be a great protagonist and not just an antagonist of the series with one dimension. And I do think that this movie could springboard into other things like a Squidward movie or a Patrick movie. And I hope that's true. Number 5 is Wolfman. I have been really impressed with things that Bloomberg Universal has been doing as of late, especially with things like Five Nights at Freddy's.
I do think that the classic horror genre
is set for reboot, and seems to be amazing. It has that claustrophobic feel to it, Stephen King vibe. I hope it really does good because I do believe this will be the number 1 horror movie in 2025.
Okay, here on number 4 is the Minecraft movie. Now, people might disagree.
But I don't care.
Because it looks blasphemy. And it's Jack Black announcing every single thing in Minecraft as it's the first thing the human being has ever experienced. Like
the crafting table, the ender pearl, the towel.
Bro, freaking I'm so excited for this, for Jack Black and for Minecraft, because you also want to just see everything that Minecraft has to offer. Like, we already saw what a creeper and zombie look like. Imagine what an Enderman looks like. Imagine what the Ender Dragon looks like. Imagine literally everything that has to do with the plot. I think this will be one of the most spectacular movies that will get bombed, but it's going to be so worthy of just watching over and over again, even though people are not going to like it. But you know who will like it?
This guy right here.
I'm going to love this movie like it is my own child.
Number 3 is Zootopia 2. Zootopia is probably my favorite Disney movie right now, and them to do a sequel, I've been waiting for this for like 5 years. We all knew that the sequel was coming, but we didn't know what it was going to be about, or the characters that were in, or which direction they were going to take it. And to see that how they will do it will define how it goes in the future. And I do hope we get a Zootopia 3, but right now I'm focused on this one, and I do think that it will be good. Number 2 is Dogman. Number 2 might be a high for other people, but I loved Captain Underpants movie, and the books were something that I remember reading to my nieces and nephews, and they always loved them. So this movie has a strong connection for me, and I do think the trailer looks good, and I hope that everything goes well with this movie, and to see that they are actually making this movie is just amazing, because it's not the first project you would think they would be doing in 2025, but I do think that was a correct choice.
And now, for the number 1 movie we are excited for of 2025.
Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, This looks so amazing.
It
The
does.
details of Stitch in general. Everybody that's part of it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone who has watched Lilo and Stitch actually dislikes this movie, and there's a reason for it.
Honestly, like, there are movies people are upset about that they're turning live action, like we talked about in How to Train Your Dragon. But for this, it's just gonna add to the masterpiece that already is Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, and if you don't like live actions, that's okay. But this is our pick, and
And this features the original person who does play Stitch.
yeah. So I think this movie will end up very, very good, and this is the movie we're most excited about for 2025.
And it is a perfect summer movie for the summer.
Yeah.
Like, there could have been no other perfect time that it could have came out besides the summer.
Yeah.
I am so hyped for that. Stitch happens to see that.
So, and with that,
That ends our video for the most excited movies we are for 2025.
Yep. And hope we will get this out by the end of 2024, but if we don't...
yeah, this one might take a while, so it could be at
Yeah.
2025. Also, can I just add, Wolfman and Dogman are both coming out the same month.
Yes, they are.
Both dog movies. 2 different dog movies, may I add, but...
2 polar ends. But that's okay.
I'm excited for them anyway.
Yep. So, and with that, we thank you for watching to this point.
We are owning ownership of our opinions.
Yeah, so
don't try to take these serious.
and if you have any movies that you would like to see better in 2025, please put them in the comments and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit that like button. And yeah, love you, Alchemedians. See you next year, or are already
Whenever.
here. We're already here.